Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today I will be talking about Season 2, Episode 22, The End of Indian Summer, starring Steve Forrest as Joe Rogers and Gladys Cooper as Marguerite Gillespie. And this is a very solid episode overall. It's plotted well and very enjoyable. It's not quite as suspenseful as some episodes in the series, but it kept my interest throughout, and I thought there were a lot of interesting characters who were used very well. So I wouldn't quite call this a series classic, but I would say it's a very good episode worth watching. So we start with a man named Sam, and he runs an insurance investigation company, and he's talking to one of his employees named Joe, and he wants him to investigate a woman named Marguerite Gillespie, who's had two husbands pass away under similar circumstances, and Sam suspects foul play, even though Joe's not so sure. He basically has no choice. He has to follow orders and try and find this woman, Marguerite, and see what she is up to at this point. It is also, Joe is told basically to bring his wife with him. And I have to say, while his wife is not really that essential to the plot, I found her character amusing. I thought she was fine. So at this point, Joe and his wife are talking. And it turns out that Joe also thinks he's being checked up on by another man. He thinks his boss Sam has set this up. But as we'll find out throughout the episode, not everything is as it initially seems. So eventually Joe does find out where Marguerite lives, and he goes to pay her a visit. And it turns out this lady, Marguerite, is very friendly at first. She seems like a pleasant enough elderly lady. She also says she really loves the house she's in right now. And they chat. She said even though she hasn't lived there long because she's lost two husbands already. So she talks about it very openly. It seems like Joe is starting to just believe everything that happened was a coincidence until we are introduced to a man named Howard who stops by, and it turns out he is supposed to marry Marguerite. So now Joe is very suspicious, and to be fair, this situation is a bit strange. So at this point, the other investigator is also outside the house snooping around. He's still a mysterious character. We're not really sure what he's up to. So at this point, Joe and his wife have a chat. And Joe gets some news that there is a new insurance policy, just like the other two that Marguerite, basically had. So Joe pretty much suspects now that she is up to some foul play, but he has no hard evidence, so he can't really do anything yet. So Joe and his wife are talking again, and Howard comes by. It turns out that he and Marguerite both took physicals, but Howard makes it seem like it was Marguerite's idea, which we'll find out in the future may or may not have been true. I thought this was a good subtle clue to the end of the episode. So we also find out their marriage is going to happen very soon. Joe is getting frustrated as the evidence continues to build up, but he still has no concrete proof of what's going on. But then Joe basically finds out that the house has been sold, and this pretty much puts him over the edge. He tells his wife he has to go stop Marguerite no matter what. He's going to reveal everything that's been going on. But when he drives over to the house to confront her, it's too late. The house has already been sold. Marguerite has left with Howard to be married, and then the other insurance investigator is of course there, and he introduces himself to Joe, and it turns out in the twist of the episode that he was not investigating Marguerite or checking up on Joe. He was actually investigating Howard, who it turns out had like 4 wives pass away in the same way. So now it's just a matter of who does in the other one first between Howard and Marguerite. So kind of an interesting twist. Not the one I was really expecting, but it works well in the context of the episode. And like I said, this is just a solid episode all the way around. Pretty well acted and well written, even if it's not the most suspenseful episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents ever. But I do think fans of the show should enjoy it, and I'm going to give The End of Indian Summer a 3.5 out of 5. Just a solid episode that I do recommend for fans of the show. So 3.5 out of 5 for The End of Indian Summer. And as always, thank you very much for watching.